Okay, hey there guys, so for today's war we're going up against PBT. They're a pretty solid alliance, so we definitely didn't want to go in underestimating them, and I don't think we went in underestimating them too much or anything here. So I'm starting out here. This is path 2, this is that shatter and roll with the punches. There's the placebo, but the placebo mean nothing here. He's a science champion, not global or anything. So there's just the two things. SP1 spam, I don't want to let him get up his nonsense charges. That's where he evades, that's where he power stings. And he has a pretty heavy form of limber on this node, with having limber placed on him, and then having, I believe that one is shatter, and it reduces their next every stun duration by 30%. But as you can see, that fight, by the time I'm done explaining the nodes, Nick Fury's mowed through it. I was originally assigned Mole Man for this war, but we actually decided to switch to my Nick Fury. I've had the rank 5 Nick Fury the whole time I've been here at Salty, and so I guess we're just giving it a little bit of a test out here. I still do like Mole Man, but I do also really like Nick Fury, and they do cover a lot of the very similar fights. They both, I'd say the one place Mole Man I might prefer is specifically the Knoll, but even there, Nick Fury can definitely do that fight. So here's this fight here. There's a little sadist node here. That's what makes this node interesting for me. So the placebos, I actually do get to keep up Withers because of the placebo that's on this node. As you can see, I'm applying Withers, which are going to give me extra damage, and if I dex or anything, it's going to give him less power. But as you can see, because of Sadist and because of all these debuffs he has, every blocked hit that I take, especially in non-parry, is so much. And because of that, because I use the Power Star at 1 and everything, I don't want to risk an SP2 miss dex, and like I try to dex the beams and I mess it up. So I'm going to end up blocking all those beams. As you can see, a parry's doing 3k. That previous SP2 did 8k per hit on the block. Let's see how much this one does. Dex and Dex, and 9.5. So that was 30k health on that single SP2 into the block. 30k because of Sadist. It's just insane. So I get there, I'm going to throw off this SP2 here. This fight costs me a lot of items. After dying last tour and then that fight, my items were not looking the best, but I've been doing a good job trying to get them back up. But yeah, the items there are crazy. This Nimrod is a pretty standard Nimrod. This was the first time I take it this season, or did I take it last one and I'm already forgetting? But I'm going to take it again in the 4th war, actually, as a little spoiler, I guess. And I think it's the lack of suicides and the fact that I'm using a rank 3 here. You can see the rank 3 off the block damage, where 700, 1400, and it's taken off a fair chunk of health here. Maybe I'll try to rank 4 Nebula soon. I do like her. I have used her a fair bit throughout my Alliance War career, where I'll end up on this path 4 for this Nimrod here. And right there, I accidentally make a little mistake, and I parry before my SP2, and because of that, I actually get the special lock, but fortunately I'm able to throw the SP2 just in time, as you saw, where literally just in time I was able to get the doubling it from the SP2, like 2 ticks, 3 ticks at most. And right here I'm having to build back up my charges to reduce his ability accuracy. Once he has that armor, I can't really reduce that ability accuracy, and that's why I'm still partially glancing. I'm just trying to build up some power here, and I'm just going to go for a parry after this, I believe. Or do I just... yeah, I'm just going to wait for the parry. Just let the shocks kill him. The shocks are the big damage on Nebula, so I go for that parry the second time there in the fight. A little bit slower than it maybe could be, but it's fine. This Nimrod, this Mordo here, I was told to put back, to leave on the Invul, so I have the Invul carrying over from the previous fight, because I prefer an Invul for the previous fight due to power reasons. But this one, they're like, yeah, put on an invulnerability. I'm like, well, of course, it's a Mordo, it's a Void. I'll put it on. I did not think this fight was going to go this poorly. This guy's AI was so toxic. Like, Mordo AI is always a little bit of an issue, right? Always a bit. Like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And typically, right, if he's against the wall, you'll throw that heavy. But in mid-range, he actually can dex out of it, and sometimes he'll punish you. And I don't want to lose my invulnerability boost, especially right before he SP3s. I have on the SP3 defense, and it's a Void. I'd probably be fine. But I don't want to have to, I don't want to die here. So, like, I'm playing it really safe. Right there, I get a nice early combo ender and get off the SP1 before I go up to SP2. Void's SP2's maybe a bit underrated, but I want these Petrifies on to start controlling his power. Trying to get him to throw a heavy here, and he's just not cooperating. And also, the other big thing is, right after these specials or heavies, I can actually parry him because of the slows I'm putting on him. I have 3 different forms of slow on him right now. But I think I was still being a little bit cautious just in case. Plus, I had the Petrify, so I'm like, okay, he can't really get up to the SP3 again. But he was so stingy at the beginning of this fight with those specials. But here at this point, he's a little bit more cooperative because he can't really SP3 me. Haha. You know? So once he can't really SP3 me, he's going to be a little bit more cooperative. But he is still quite a hard customer here, and I'm really getting annoyed with these heavies and him just sitting there. But on the plus side, now that I've got this Petrify, he's actually even power draining himself, and he's just ticking down pretty quickly. It was just a very long fight, minute 45, minute and 3/4, just because he was a pain. Just a pain, that fight. I forgot, because this was a couple days ago now, I forgot how annoying that AI was in this fight. So for this Void here, again, this is typically a fight I've done with Mole Man, but Mole Man himself triggers quite a few buffs, so there's a trade-off in this fight. The trade-off is, Mole Man triggers quite a few buffs and has shrugging without any action required, but I can lose the shrugging if I accidentally trigger Frenzy, correct? That's the trade-off for Mole Man there, is you have the automatic shrug, but you can lose the shrug, where Nick Fury's trade-off is more consistent damage. He doesn't trigger his own buffs, but you don't automatically remove the debuffs, namely the Power Sting, because timing out the 10 combos for me, I've gotten fine enough at fighting Voids. The 10 combos isn't usually an issue, and I did a couple duels to test it out. I'm just going to play really aggressive at the start, and I decided I'm just going to be playing it slow, actually, after that. I could probably go aggressive and get up to, like, the 20 hits instead, but there's also the Power Stings, and right before this fight, when I was going in to read the nodes, I was like, Power Stings. Power Stings. I had forgotten about the Power Stings part of this node, because on our assignment sheet, this is just listed as Power Snack, so I forgot about the Power Sting part of the Power Snack. But yeah, as you can see, it's definitely a lot more comfortable, not comfortable, it's a lot more relaxed of a fight, because I'm not trying to like make sure I don't trigger my Unstoppable, and like trying to figure out the timing between my Unstoppables and Frenzy. Do I want to trigger Frenzy? Right there, it's a nice little 30 hit to get rid of the extra debuff there. And when if he has 1 or 2 Power Stings, it doesn't matter, because Void's damage over time is based on unique debuffs, not total debuffs. So I'm pretty much just chilling, and again, time it out at 39, get the 40th hit. Right here, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to play it a little bit safe. I was going to bait out that special. He throws it. I'm just going to go in here. I probably should have relicked there, actually, in hindsight, and finish off the fight. It was a pretty quick one. Maybe not as quick as Mole Man. I don't know if it's as quick or slower than Mole Man, but it was a very, very comfortable fight. If it's your last fight with Nick Fury, the extra health you will... I feel like that amount of health loss is probably more consistent there, but Mole Man, I feel like, has a bigger chance of just, like, you've messed up your rotations. But this is actually going to be our first loss of the season. We threw a little bit. 4 deaths. 4 deaths, they did too, as I said. They are a very capable alliance. PBT are a very... In the past, they've been a little bit inconsistent. They've been known one war they'll drop like 1 or 2, and the next war they'll drop like 10. And they dropped 2 against us, and I can't be too mad that they only dropped 2. It's a very, very good showing by them. I'm not super disappointed with us dropping 4. 4 is not the worst deaths that you could be dropping. You know, sure, if you're playing, when it's against, you know, when you're pushing for the top of Masters, you need to be able to drop less than that, especially when it's seeming to be a tight war. But we didn't, so we ended up losing this one, so we went 2-1 for the first week, and that's how we ended that first week of war. So thank you guys so much for coming back and watching this video, and hopefully we get the win next time, and I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye.